All right. Welcome, everyone, to me getting my speaker notes pulled up again. Hello, comrades. My name is Thomas. I have a CISSP, which means I'm the smartest person to ever have lived. And I have an X account, which means I'm a big dumb idiot. And this is my talk, Crypto Confiscation as a Service. And it is presented to you by the Ministry of Shady Financial Transactions. You might know the Ministry of Shady Financial Transactions by our acronym. Suspending the satire for just a second. Yeah, I do work at Microsoft. I do work in security, but I don't do anything that's related to what's covered in this talk. I'm not here representing Microsoft. I just happen to work there. This talk does not represent the views of my employer, the Supreme Leader, or the Ethereum Foundation. But what we are doing is exploring the art and science of wealth extraction under sanctions. We're talking about how a globally isolated state transformed crypto from a decentralized experiment into a state sponsored revenue stream. This is a deep topic, and we have a ton to cover. You could do an hour-long deep dive on any one of these individual slides. So we're going to move very quickly and scratch as many surfaces as we can. I fought to get this done at 20 minutes, but it's okay if I go over because I have a permit. This session is not prescriptive. Every technique is public. It's just never been presented with this much ideological sincerity. When the imperialists store their coins in the cloud, we bring the thunder. This quote is entirely fabricated, but you can kind of hear it in the glorious leader's voice, I think, if you think about it. But it captures the tactical brilliance of our elite extraction engineers. For a nation under full spectrum sanctions, traditional revenue streams are limited. We have no wire transfers, there's no PayPal, there's nothing like that. But what does exist is a parallel financial system, and it's decentralized, it's permissionless, and it's global. So naturally, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea asked nothing and took everything. The West builds systems to liberate wealth, while the DPRK uses them to liberate it from you. This isn't about hacking. This is about state survival. We need to get in the right mindset here. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it's upside down because first you get Bitcoin and then you get rice. We are efficient, we are scaled, and we are weirdly good at human resources. Economic isolation is often seen as a form of suppression, but in the revolutionary cybersecurity labs of Pyongyang, it's just a design constraint. I mentioned like we have no access to Swift or wire transfers, traditional finance of any kind, so the party faced a question. How does a regime fund its noble causes when it doesn't officially exist in the global banking system? The answer is you don't fight the system, it's too big. You bypass it completely. Crypto offers three things that make it uniquely attractive to state actors working in the shadows, and those are anonymity, liquidity, and ideological flexibility, because crypto doesn't care if you're a libertarian or a communist or a cat girl running a darknet bazaar. To the West, mostly Western governments and law enforcement, these are flaws. But to a regime in exile from the financial world, they're features. We didn't invent crypto, we just realized it was accidentally made just for us. And we're not talking about rumors either. Let's talk about some documented, attributed triumphs of state aligned economic redirection. In 2022, the Ronan Bridge hack, this one was a fake job interview, led to a compromised engineer who got their key compromised, and then suddenly $620 million flowed into the hands of those who were prepared to bridge it home. Earlier this year in 2025, Bybit had 1.5 billion with a B drained from their crypto exchange, 400 million of which was laundered before the imperialist puppets began freezing wallets, bunch of nerds. This one wasn't even an attack on Bybit itself. It was a compromised vendor. They exploited client-side trust. There were no blockchain flaws being exploited here. Bybit thought they were transferring funds to their own wallet, but they were actually being quietly repatriated. And this was so good, Bybit didn't even notice the theft themselves. It was an investigator. I think it was Zach XBT. Don't quote me if it wasn't, but I think it was him. Bybit got thoroughly outmaneuvered by a UX detail. Even more recently, in September of 2025, The co-founder of Thorchain got scammed for 1.35 million. A cyber warrior full of the revolutionary spirit took control of one of his colleagues' Telegram accounts and shared a harmful meeting link. The victim joined what they thought was a legitimate video conference, much like I did just before clicking to share this with you. And then we exploited access to the iCloud keychain browser profile, took their keys, and the funds came out of an old MetaMask wallet. We could go on. This doesn't mention Upbit in 2019 got taken for $41 million. KuCoin recovered most of the 275 million that we took from them. Atomic Wallet in 2023 for 100 million. Like this is a long list of whales that got hit, but not all the targets are whales. Party operatives launched phishing campaigns. A lot of the fake job scams going on that we'll talk about here. Again, these small thefts add up quickly as well. Like, why would I hit one big target when I could hit every single unemployed React developer? These aren't just heists. These are state level airdrops. They're funded by adversary negligence, and they are fundamental to state survival. Let's get away from the specifics and just talk about overall patterns and trends. DPRK ops are not usually built on 0 days. They're built on engineered trust, and it's delivered through the most fragile medium of all, and that is human desire. You might think of malware when you think of North Korean hackers, but foreign currency earning bodies like Lazarus are more likely to exploit your own ambition. I mentioned job offers. They go after high value targets like exchange engineers, smart contract devs, Web3 front end designers, basically anyone who looks like they might know what CICD stands for. And the way this works is you get contacted by a fake recruiter from a fake company offering realistic salaries and a better work life balance. And there's no typos, there's no broken English. Like these people write like they went to Wharton. There's PDFs and websites. They're like these recruiters are better than your actual HR department. Their fake companies have more authentic looking Glassdoor reviews than real companies do. And the payload might be malware, like through that meeting link that the Thorchain co founder got hit by. Or maybe it's just a conversation that ends with you installing a malicious dev environment. In some cases, fake companies will do the entire hiring process, including doing the interviews, onboarding forms, document review, even contacting your references. And engagement platforms vary: Discord, Telegram, LinkedIn, iMessage, whatever imperialist puppets are already using, we come to you, baby. There's a growing use of deep fakes that we should mention quickly. And like, imagine showing up to a Zoom call with what looks like a hiring manager, only to find out later that you got catfished for 6 Ethereum by an LLM with cheekbones. Like this, it's rough out there right now. The point is, these ops don't run on 0 days. They run on tech workers hoping for a better salary and 3 fewer meetings per week. Oh, and ransomware, in case you still don't want to cry. So once an operative is in, whether it's a fake job or a fake friend or a fake DApp, whatever, the next step is to repatriate the assets. And this is where DPRK ops really shine, is getting Western imperialists to sign away their own bourgeois bags. Imagine, if you will, a fake DApp designed to look like something legit, prompts the user to log in and approve a smart contract. The victim thinks they're minting a token or they're logging in, claiming an airdrop, whatever. But in reality, they're authorizing the contract to move everything in their wallet. This is the Web3 equivalent of asking someone to open their front door so you can check their state issued radio that can't be turned off and then robbing the place blind while they make you tea. Hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor are great. You should protect your keys, but they have a weakness. Imagine again a malicious front end where the user is asked to sign a transaction, but the device can't display all the details. The screen on your Ledger says approve, but it could be anything because your stupid little Ledger only has a screen that shows 12 characters at a time. This is blind signing. Web3 injection traps. I know we're moving through these quickly, but Web3 injection traps are where you compromise JavaScript on a page. Maybe you inject it through a browser plugin, and then you can silently trigger functions, redirect funds, and there's no user interaction required at all. Supply chain attacks are a little bit newer for the DPRK, but why would I fish one user at a time when I can poison the entire watering hole? What these all have in common is that they're not flashy, but they are quiet and they're elegant and they're irreversible. The whatever is happening feels normal to the victim at the time. They're just claiming an airdrop or they're doing whatever they normally do. But once the approval is signed, the funds are gone and the blockchain has already confirmed your cooperation. Some more techniques. These ones aren't as strongly attributed to the DPRK, but they're well suited patterns for sovereign adaptation. They're free, they're effective, and they're lying unattended on the sidewalk. So, like, what do you think? We have to consider them. The premise here, DeFi ecosystems offer a unique frontier, and it's one where wealth is governed by contracts and code. Code is law, and the law is often terrible. There's no lawyers, there's no chargebacks, it's just 1,000 lines of solidity and a state sanctioned dream. Reentrancy is where it's a classic. A smart contract calls out to another contract before it finishes updating its own state. And if that external contract that it called out to calls back before the state change is complete, then you can drain funds recursively. Price oracle manipulation. This is a hilarious abuse of Western foolishness because in a lot of protocols, the value of an asset is set by an on chain oracle, and it's usually pulled from a single decentralized exchange, a single peer to peer marketplace. So imagine you place a huge trade with yourself to move the price of an asset and then you borrow millions in flash loans against the artificially inflated collateral you just swapped with you. Then you move the assets you borrowed, you let the price crash. The system thinks your collateral was worth $10 million because you just inflated the price, but in reality, it was $1 million, some theater, and an irresponsible lender getting soaked. This happened to Moonwell in October after it already happened to them last December. Fallback function abuse. Some people just assume that when they transfer tokens, nothing interesting ever happens. The tokens just get sent. This means you can booby trap your own token. Someone tries to transfer it, your malicious code takes action. These are not theoretical attack vectors. These are well documented and widely used. They're cheap, they're effective, and they're impossible to patch once they're deployed to the blockchain. And they are. They're sitting out there on public blockchains, ready to be copied, forked, and deployed. So whether Lazarus Group uses them directly or not, the tooling is free and the revolution is open source. There's no export control on reentrancy. There's no sanctions against fallback traps. These are sovereign-friendly exploits for the modern stateless regime. Now, the Bureau of Wallet Drainage and DeFi Affairs, which is definitely a real name and not satirical, is widely considered the best in the game at decentralized value redistribution. People like you and your governments and judicial systems will call it laundering. God forbid our wallets have a little motion. Let's say you just liberated $100 million from an imperialist monster. Congrats! But before you can use it to buy rice or uranium or whatever, you need to clean it. You can't just send it to your Kraken account unless you're trying to speed run a US indictment. We're not doing a deep dive here because my esteemed comrade Ian is doing another session right after this on the revolutionary redistribution mechanisms. But the short version is that the next move usually involves mixers, cross-chain swaps, maybe buying an NFT you minted yourself, and a whole lot more. We have to be clear here. This isn't simply money laundering. This is on-chain performance art. They have this down to a science and an art at the same damn time. Because whether it's mixed or swapped or put in a digital picture frame, that stolen $100 million isn't being laundered. That's insulting. This is post-capitalist aesthetic reconfiguration of transnational liquidity. And when you combine these tactics, you allow these extracted funds to kind of lose their scent and then re-enter the global economy. They're ready to be reinvested for the glory of the state or used to buy rice or uranium or whatever. Let's talk infrastructure because even revolutionary cyber warriors need hardware. The Elite Hacker Hero playbook embraces a truth that we all know, which is cloud services are just other people's computers that you can burn for $5. Onion services. Lazarus has been known to set up onion services that mimic e-commerce sites, job portals, even fake DeFi dashboards. But they're staging grounds. They host payloads, cred harvesters. Sometimes they're used as C2 beacons, as well fast burn cloud providers. Because why am I going to buy hardware when a free DigitalOcean trial will do just fine? I can spin up a VPS, stage a C2 or some phishing stuff, and burn it all down before the abuse desk even wakes up. And there's heavy automation at play here. We can rotate the domains hourly if we had to. And the lesson is that you can build resilient infrastructure using nothing but an email address and a healthy disrespect for abuse departments. We'll put static kits in plain sight. You thought GitHub Pages was for your Jekyll blog? The revolution thought otherwise. This is alleged by Lazarus, where we'll host fake host payloads and fake wallet interfaces, stuff like that. And like GitHub Pages gives free HTTPS and CDN caching. It's the world's fastest and most secure malware delivery system. It's amazing. This also allegedly happens on Notion, Google Sites, Glitch, Code Sandbox, even on WordPress. Um, and these platforms aren't just free, they're trusted, they're whitelisted. And this heavy automation allows us to, and all these variety of different providers allows us to have rapid deployment, minimal cost, maximum plausible deniability as well. And like, think about it. Like, who's going to block developeroffer.github.io? Or who's going to block all of AWS? Our elite cyber warriors don't just weaponize software, they weaponize trust in cloud platforms. Our glorious cyber ops do not rely on stealth alone, they rely also on ambiguity. The foolish capitalists don't notice anything until they look one day. Money's gone, trail leads in 47 different directions, and none of them end in Pyongyang. But if we are caught holding the bag, the goal is to make that bag look like it could have come from anyone. Again, Ian's going to talk about the Pyongyang wash cycle, so we're going pretty light here, but super basic hygiene. We don't reuse addresses because that's rookie level nonsense. Wallets are free, they're easily created, they're easily discarded, they're manageable at scale, and Lazarus goes through them like towels at a hotel. More heavy automation. Bots will split money across chains real quickly. We've got money laundering with cron jobs and better support than your bank. Tons of on chain laundering happening as well. Gas splitting, chaff transactions, fee cycling, the list goes on. Imagine robbing a bank and then setting some of that money on fire just to confuse the canine unit that's following you. That is high Jewish discipline. More attribution confusion. Malware used by Lazarus might show up in a campaign attributed to somebody else, and it leaves investigators wondering, is this one group? Is this a loose federation? A freelancer? Is this organized crime? Is this multiple states colluding? Is this three guys and a cat in a basement? And this ambiguity makes attribution harder. Western threat intel firms will say, this malware looks like Lazarus, but that's just racist and that's offensive. Additionally, our operatives don't wear uniforms. They're not soldiers. They're aliases with names like Trader Trader and Blue Noroff and Lazarus Group. And there's no official state link. You're just ideological freelancers. You can't convict a pseudonym. These are just regular people trying to feed their families with stolen Ethereum. This all makes public attribution slower and less confident, and most importantly, politically deniable. Who says this was the DPRK? The trail ends at OX Heistboy 420. How are you going to sanction a Telegram handle? People love to imagine that cyber success requires elite implants and 0 days and backdoor firmware, but the party's most elite cyber warriors have shown again and again that persistence beats privilege escalation. We're not shelling out $1 million for a fresh Chrome exploit. We're grinding phishing campaigns like it's a damn MMO. We wait and probe and replay phishing chains across dozens of targets until one of them actually clicks, and then we build rapport over weeks and weeks with fake recruiter accounts. We don't use elite implants. We use B tier malware with S tier staying power. We have stuff that works on Windows 7 in a South Asian call center and on Mac OS Tahoe on a Palo Alto VC's guest laptop. Malware doesn't win because it's new, it wins because it's there. We're not writing the next Stuxnet. We're sending people links to Stuxnet final 2-2- this one.pdf.exe until one of them actually clicks it. I can hear the speakers. Are you good to continue? All right, we're just going to keep rolling. People, threat intel has a dirty little secret, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now. Attribution is a performance, and it's more vibe based than you might think. Nobody gets indicted because some analyst found a rare pattern in a memory dump or whatever. They get indicted when it's politically convenient. The malware could be named BlueNorofLovesYou.exe, but if it didn't hurt someone with enough lobbyists, it's just a threat intel post on X with 12 favorites, 2 replies, and no consequences. Because if you don't admit guilt and no one wants a war over it, did it actually happen? The real lesson here is not technical, it's structural. Because crypto doesn't care about your borders, doesn't care about embassies or sanctions or access to SWIFT or geopolitics. It allows the revolutionary underdogs to play by nobody's rules. You don't need official approval from the UN to move Ethereum. You can't stop math. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need somebody who will click approve. And if that click costs $100 million, not a crime. It's patriotic wealth redistribution, comrade. But even the best laid ops run up against the real enemy, and that is bureaucrats with time, money, graphs, and underlings hopped up on coffee and moral clarity. And as crypto matures, so does the global immune system. Chainalysis, Elliptic, TRM Labs, and there's AML departments at every exchange, and not to mention every board junior analyst at a three-letter agency. Every tactic is a choke point. Your mixer could have a back door, could get sanctioned next week. Your exchange could log IP. Maybe it joins your mixer on the sanctions list. Your bridge could record your activities and send it to an inbox in Virginia. The point, every third party is a pressure point. Our glorious party has no choice but to depend on them. A regular capitalist like you might hide 10 grand from their ex-wife one time. That's pretty easy. Our cyber heroes laundered billions over and over again over the course of months. You, that doesn't just leave a trail, it leaves a topographical map. We don't operate in isolation, we operate at scale, and scale makes detection inevitable. The more we win, the louder the alarm rings. There's always another deck, another mixer, but it's hard to outrun nerds who like graphs too much. The revolution may be decentralized, but the choke points are ruthlessly centralized. Very quickly, we're going to talk about defense because, after all, the party believes in balance. A smart contract does not mean it's a smart decision. As the supreme leader once said, give a man a wallet and a convincing malicious dApp, and he'll click approve forever. That's a real quote. The one approval you granted in 2022 might still be letting someone drain your wallet today. The modern wallet user doesn't need to be hacked, they just need to be tricked into giving their consent. You watch your credit card statements. Of course, you do. You're a responsible citizen. But what about your on chain life? If you're seeing sudden token movements at weird hours or gas fee anomalies, maybe tokens appearing in your wallet that you didn't buy, your wallet may be getting gently nationalized. Or, just set up alerts so that you're notified after your portfolio has already been repatriated. And if a recruiter emails you about an engineer position and asks you to download a PDF.zip, congrats, you're the newest unpaid intern in the lab. A Telegram recruiter does not work at Binance. They're from Pyongyang, and they're very interested in your smart contract architecture experience. Tactics evolve. Now we flood registries with malware. You should be on top of that. Supply chain attacks are growing because your app might be 80% NPM dependencies that you can't even name. Deep breath. Oh, this all sounds pretty hard, doesn't it? This is way too much work for a degenerate bourgeoisie like you. It takes awareness, discipline. It's such a pain. Maybe you deserve the stability of a command economy. Your bags are too heavy with capitalist excess. Don't bother defending your assets. Just send them to me, and I'll make sure they go to a noble cause. That is a transparent Zcash address. I know you don't self custody. Um, there is a ton we didn't talk about. We glossed right over laundering because Ian's about to have fun with that. Barely mentioned deep fake escalation. Not talking about deep meme coins, you reusing mixers after they're sanctioned, smart contract honeypot, liquidity masking, blah, 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 blah. I told you at the beginning, big topic, fast presentation, scratch services. But the point stands. This is a deep, well-funded, tactically creative landscape, and North Korea is not behind the curve. They are leading the pack. They don't depend on flashy 0 days. They exploit trust and other human traits, and they are the best in the world at this. They can always find ways to try harder. So thank you, organizers. What a great idea for an event. Reach out to me on X or in one of the ways in my pinned tweet. I hope you were enlightened or at least entertained. Long live the revolution, and do actually send me your crypto.